Shift how you love and your life will change. Begin loving and giving to others without expecting anything back in return. Start loving others and yourself unconditionally. In other words, without conditions. This means no matter how they respond, love them anyway. This can be difficult, and you won't always succeed, but I encourage you to do your best. I'm going to share 5 ways practicing unconditional love can improve your life. There are likely many more, but these are simply the ones that stand out to me the most. I can hear your negative ego fighting me already. It's saying things like, if I love without conditions, how will I defend myself? What if they try to take advantage of me? What if they disrespect me? What if someone treats me badly? What if I'm right and I need to prove them wrong? So we come to the first benefit of unconditional love, learning to not feed your ego so much. Your negative ego needs to be right. It needs to feel better than others. It needs to feel more powerful than others. It needs to be respected and noticed. And if it doesn't get any of those things, it starts to get enraged. By practicing unconditional love, you stop feeding your negative ego. Your negative ego starts to weaken and need less. Then you have more space to listen to your higher self, and your life begins to feel lighter and more positive. Now, before we continue, I want to clarify something. Unconditional love doesn't mean allowing people to mistreat you. It doesn't mean continuing to pour energy into relationships that constantly take from you. I believe unconditional love means giving because you genuinely feel like you want to. If someone constantly disrespects you, takes advantage of you, or doesn't appreciate your effort, over time you will naturally feel less desire to invest in that relationship, and that's okay. Let that person go with love. That is the natural filter that protects you from people that might try to abuse your kindness. Then you will naturally be placing more of your energy into people and relationships that feel loving and supportive. The second way unconditional love changes your life is that you get to keep the good feeling of doing something nice for someone else. Often that feeling gets twisted into something negative when we expect a conditional result. I remember a while back, my mom gave my daughter and her husband a gift. She bought them a washer and dryer for their new house. My daughter thanked my mom, but my daughter's husband didn't say anything. My mom was so mad at him. I said, "Mom, what's important is that you did something nice for them. That was a nice gesture." And she responded with, "Yeah, but I spent a lot of money. The least he could do is say thank you." You can see how her conditions transformed something that was supposed to be a beautiful gesture into feelings of anger and resentment. When we give with conditions, we often lose the very feeling we were hoping to create. A beautiful act becomes resentment. A gift becomes frustration. A loving gesture becomes a source of anger. So next time you love someone or give something to them, do it because you genuinely want to, then let it go. Stop caring how they respond. It doesn't matter. You don't have control over how they respond anyway. Your negative ego will feed off either response. If you get praised, your negative ego says, "I like that attention. We should give more to get more praise." And if they don't respond the way you want, your negative ego gets frustrated and twists your original beautiful intention into something negative. Unconditional love and letting go of needing a particular response allows you to keep the good feeling of giving. The third way unconditional love changes your life is by helping you build stronger relationships and reducing your need to control others. I had a client one time who was extremely frustrated with her daughter. She was saying things like, "My daughter never listens to me. She never does what I tell her to do. She doesn't respect me as a parent." My reply was, "Why does she need to do those things?" My client said something like, "I support her and provide her everything she needs, so she should give me respect." Again, I asked, "Why does she need to respect you for that?" I explained that she chose to bring her daughter into this world, that it was her responsibility as a parent to provide for her. So why did her daughter owe her something for what she was already supposed to provide? I think this was an eye-opener for the mom. I encouraged her to do her best to start loving her daughter without conditions. With this new perspective, her relationship with her daughter improved. And how often do we do this in our own relationships? We quietly expect appreciation, respect, gratitude, attention, and when we don't receive those things, we become frustrated. The more conditions we place on people, the more we try to control them. Unconditional love allows people to be who they are, not because we approve of everything they do, but because our peace is no longer dependent upon changing them. The fourth way unconditional love changes your life comes from practicing it with yourself. Don't forget to love yourself without conditions. Love yourself for exactly who you are. If there are things about yourself you don't prefer, then work on those things. But if you're already doing your best, then love who you are right now, in the present moment. When you learn to love yourself unconditionally, you take pressure off of yourself. Most people love themselves conditionally. I'll love myself when I lose weight, when I become successful, when I stop making mistakes, when I finally get my life together. But if love is conditional, every mistake becomes evidence that you aren't worthy. Every failure becomes an attack on your value. When you begin loving yourself without conditions, mistakes become easier to forgive. Shame begins to soften. Self-criticism begins to lose its grip. The fifth way unconditional love changes your life is through your overall state of being. Think about what has happened so far. You've stopped feeding your negative ego. You've learned to keep the good feeling of giving. You've placed fewer conditions on other people. And you've learned to love yourself more deeply. Something begins to shift inside you. Because in my opinion, unconditional love is the highest vibrational state. Negative ego, on the other hand, is one of the lowest. So by doing your best to practice unconditional love, you are naturally shifting towards a higher state of being, one that contains more peace, more joy, more happiness, and of course, more love. I encourage you to start practicing unconditional love the best you can. It isn't always easy. There will be people you think don't deserve it, and there will be times you struggle to give it. But there will also be moments where you succeed, hopefully at least with yourself. And when you do, I think you'll begin to notice a shift. You'll become more familiar with what pure unconditional love feels like. You'll stop feeding your negative ego quite so much. You'll keep more of the good feelings that come from giving. You'll build stronger relationships with others and with yourself, and I think you'll be glad you did. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to provide clarity. I wish you success. Thank you for watching. Take care.